maybe listen to him speak. No matter what, just let it go.
Perswayable. How we all doing? So yesterday I wrote a status on YouTube, and I wrote, yo, because I gotta keep it cool. God, I'm becoming such an old man. I go, yo, I want to hear from you. You all taking good care of yourselves? You like how informal that is? If you respond in the next 48 hours, I promise to heart your comment so you know it's been read. Well, I read them all. Promise you that I did. So far. And, sometimes when I write those statuses, it lets you know, we have 26,000 subscribers. We have, over 3,700 people on Discord, 8,000 or 9,000 people on Instagram. The support is crazy. And it's impossible for me to respond to everybody individually. One of the things that I wanted to do is actually do that. When it comes to being a YouTuber, I've actually never asked for a single subscriber. I do know sometimes my graphic designers will put like the subscribe button where you can click it or something. It's just editing stuff. I know YouTube has things built into it, like the end screen that said subscribe, things like that. I have no control over that. But I've never actually verbally asked anyone to ever subscribe to me, because in fact, I think I've told more people to unsubscribe to me because of my dad jokes. They're not mine. I just Google them because that's what, people who probably, I feel like that's the dad joke thing to do, is to Google your jokes, to be honest with you. My inappropriate jokes, though, those are all mine. Anyways, one of the things that I have realized as a YouTuber is, growth is good. Trying to grow, become bigger is good, but it's not everything. I see comments every day. In fact, there's one up right now saying, oh, Perswayable, you deserve so many more subscribers. Growth is nice. Having a big voice is even better. But at the end of the day, it's not the only thing that drives me. I don't really care in a weird way. Like, growth is good, but I just don't care. I don't care about any of that. That's not why I do my YouTube. I do my YouTube because it's meaningful and purposeful to me. And with that being said, this is the reality of things. YouTube content creator, not only is it insignificant in the important things in this world, but if I had to quantify what's more important, me being a YouTube content creator or your time would be more important. And when I genuinely tell my subscribers and the people that associate with me how much I'm thankful for that, it's on a deeper level than you may think. And it's very common for people to say, oh, I have the best subscribers, my fan base is the best, or, oh my God, I love you guys, thank you so much, But when I tell you from somebody who, when I was younger, I tried to end my own life. I understand depression. I understand suicide ideation. It's been way over 10 years since I've had any of those thoughts, thankfully. I've seen despair. I've seen the darkness. And to come so far in my life and to see people who can appreciate me, it's on a very, very deep level. And I don't want to use the word intimate, but because people have the wrong inclination of what that word means, but it's very passionate towards how I feel for all of you. And now when you just say that, it gets mixed in with all the people who may not have that sort of appreciation, but they say they do. So with this coronavirus thing, you guys know that I'm a healthcare professional. I'm an occupational therapy practitioner. I'm only a year out of graduate school. I'm very new to it. I wanted to really understand what you guys were going through. And reading those comments, reading some of the comments from you all, like really, it touched me. I could make a joke about that. That's my normal sense of humor. However, this is a little bit more serious because you guys all have a significant meaning to me. And when I see that how this is affecting a lot of the people that watch me and the people who support me and who say such nice things to me, not only that, you guys are remarkable because you appreciate all of the sides of me. I mean, God, most of my videos are super inappropriate. They're provocative. And then other times I do feel like there's hidden educational topics in there. And that's my way of educating and inspiring people in my own kind of fucked up way. This outdated, you must listen to me, sit down and be quiet and listen to me is very authoritarian. And that was my problem in high school when I was a troubled kid. You all are remarkable. And when I tell you that there's this deep feeling of love and appreciation for you all, it goes beyond me just saying that. It goes beyond me just saying, oh, I care about you all. It's deeper than that. And so when I see how the coronavirus has affected many of you, it's affected me. Beyond just simply saying, oh, I care about you guys are the best, LOL. Before I get into how the coronavirus has affected me, before we talk about the bigger subject, which is you all, this is going to be a very, very long video, and I may need to cut it up in a few pieces. The best time to watch this video is maybe if you're trying to fall asleep. The best time to watch this video is if you're extremely bored. It's going to be very long, most likely. And you all deserve that. You guys, so how about we talk about real quickly about what we were talking about in regards to me being a content creator. In the grand scheme of life, a content creator's content is really minimal most of the time. Your time is everything. Your time is everything, and it should be not only to you, but to your loved ones. They should appreciate you. You should feel appreciated. That doesn't mean I promote narcissism, but you should remind yourself that the people around you should also be mindful and be appreciative of your time as well, because you're important and you are significant. There's 7 billion people in this world. The idea that nobody will find significance in you is just statistically improbable. And I have realized that I love making my content. I come out with it all the time. I thank you guys. But I want to give you back my time, because your time is so important and you deserve that. You deserve nothing less from that. The coronavirus, how about we talk about how it's affected, myself and Darri, and then we're going to talk to you guys. I am an occupational therapist. We do have patients in my building with COVID-19. There's been a lot of changes ever since that. Everybody knows about the great, beautiful work that doctors and nurses do, and even right now the respiratory therapists are doing such a beautiful job. I fear for my colleagues because they're being told that this is what they signed up for, but in emergency medicine, the first thing that you're taught is that if you can't protect yourself, you can't protect anyone else. Like in fact, in EMT school, if there's any EMTs, they're usually trained where if there's a mass casualty incident, if there's somebody who you don't think you can save, you move on, because that's the hard thing that you have to do in the medical field, is that you have to protect as many people as you can and make those difficult decisions, but you also cannot protect anyone if you can't protect yourself. And we have a bunch of nurses and doctors right now who are being sent on the front lines with no protective equipment, or were. Some have even been reprimanded for it, for not treating COVID-19 patients despite not having proper protection. That blows my mind away, because again, one of the things that you learn in that emergency medicine is that if you expose yourself, you will infect more people. In fact, there's an Italian nurse, a nurse from Italy, who killed herself, unfortunately, because she thought that she spread it through her patients because she was tested positive. So we're in a very weird time right now. One of the things that I also worry about is how People don't realize that in nursing facilities, OTs, occupational therapists, physical therapists, we don't know if we're exposed. There weren't enough tests to test us. So I'm in this building, patient turns up positive, and then you don't know, you're trying to protect your own patients. You don't know who has it, who doesn't. People are tested, people are isolated. And you go on social media and you see the Facebook doctors who are trying to tell you not to worry about it. A whole bunch of misinformation comes out. So, occupational therapists, we go through research. I've had to go through the institutional review board process for my master's degree. You start from day one, where you start working on research, your own research. I've done my research on physical energy expenditure and sedentary behavior, and how I can incorporate augmented technology to try to increase both physical activity and reduce, sedentary behavior. And so you get trained in research, and it was very difficult because there's so many things that are coming out that you're like, I disagree with this. Or there's so many things that people on Facebook are saying that's so wrong. It's just false, and it puts other people at risk. And it was very hard for me because, I have patients who haven't been able to see their families in 4 weeks. They're talking to them through a window. There are signs up there saying, I love you. So it's hard to see that. And it's hard to see patients who are in recovery who can't spend that really, really traumatizing time with family. So then, as an occupational therapist, people don't realize how much psychology is incorporated in our discipline. I've done psychology for 7 years. 7 years. I have an undergrad degree. I have a BA in psychology. I also have a BA in sociology. I have a master's degree in occupational therapy. I had no idea what I wanted to do. And so incorporating psychology exists every day in OT, every single day. And then meanwhile, I'm worried about my family. I'm a traveling therapist. I travel to areas of need in this country. So when there's patients who don't have access to OT, they don't have access to rehabilitation, I travel there. So I permanently live away from my family, my friends, and that's my sacrifice to my fellow countrymen and women. And I like doing that. I like knowing that if I wasn't in this town, these patients would not be receiving my services. And when they go home and their families hug and kiss them and say, oh my God, you're better, I can say I was part of that process. But I'm also worried about my family. Especially my father. He doesn't have good health. My father's doctor specifically told him, if you get the coronavirus, you'll die. My dad has really bad respiratory problems, very, very bad asthma throughout his life. It's my hypothesis that right now he needs to see a pulmonary specialist because he may have COPD. It's a whole different story. I'm worried about my family. And I'm worried about my girlfriend, Darri. She lives in Mauritius, and it's east of Madagascar in the Indian Ocean, and that's where I call home now. I love the people of Mauritius. I love her family. I love her. I've been accepted by her family as an American. Such a beautiful country, and there's small tiny island, and now coronavirus is spreading there, and then my girlfriend's internet goes out, and because they're on a national shutdown, nobody could fix it. Now, I need internet to talk to the person that I'm in love with. So we went like 2 or 3 weeks barely talking. So coronavirus, I got patients with it. Patients aren't seeing their families, just 3-4 hours away, and 35 patients died in their nursing facility. So you're worried about that. You're worried about your own health. You're worried about your family, and I can't speak to my girlfriend. She has no internet. I'm worried about her. I'm worried about a grandmother. I'm worried about our family. I'm worried about people in Mauritius that one day I will be able to call my brothers and sisters. And I see how nobody pays attention to those little islands. Nobody pays attention to those little countries. It's all about us, America. It's all about the big countries. And I see how if that country got ravaged by it, no one would probably report it because the numbers aren't as big as the bigger countries. So you have to worry about that as well. It's just the reality of things. Virtually, it's impossible for media outlets to talk about 190 some odd countries, but And then of course you got the people again on Facebook who think that they're Facebook doctors, you know, that my 7 years of research has gone out the window and doesn't apply to anything. What was really annoying was when the Surgeon General was like, oh yeah, don't wear a mask, they're not going to protect you. And I'm like, that's not good, because one of the best things you can do in order to defeat a pandemic is being honest with the people. And there's actually substantial research, at least good research, that shows that wearing a mask is better than wearing no mask. Especially since a lot of patients are asymptomatic, which means you don't have any symptoms. That's what that word means. So wearing a mask means that you're less likely to spread it to somebody else. Even if a surgical mask wouldn't theoretically protect you because of the droplets, then that's a whole different discussion. It's still better to have it on than nothing. And not only that, but if you do get it, then you're less likely to spread it to other people. So I disagreed with the U.S. Surgeon General. And then in these medical facilities, you have OTs and PTs and even nurses who are being told don't wear a mask because it causes fears to all of the patients. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. Talk to them. When I started wearing a mask, I was like, I'm wearing a mask. I don't care. And then if I had a patient ask me, I would just educate them. Hey, you know, no coronavirus patients as of now, but you know, you deserve this extra precaution. What the U.S. Surgeon General should have said is we have a lack of PPE, protective equipment. Now, we have a lack of proper protective equipment. I just want you all to know the history of this. We have a federal stockpile. And don't worry, we're not going to get into politics, but I will blame both parties for this and Congress. So we have a federal stockpile of all these PPEs in case of a pandemic. There's no way a hospital is going to be fully prepared for a pandemic. All right, pandemic means that something is spread worldwide. An epidemic is like in one little area. I don't want to use the word little, but it's in a quantified area where you can see where it is. And pretty much in 2009, Barack Obama issued a whole bunch of those protective equipment for the H1N1 flu. He also had to deal with the Zika. He had to deal with Ebola. So essentially what happened is you know, that equipment needed to be used. It's just that he never restocked it. And then I do know that when the Trump administration was in, I think that he was warned like 2 or 3 times that we needed to restock it, and it never got restocked. So it's not about blaming a specific political party, but I do know that, you know, between Congress and both political parties, we got put in this position where we didn't have enough proper protective equipment. So that is the United States' fault. That is the responsibility of our government. And so since we didn't have enough proper protective equipment, they're telling us, well, don't wear a mask because it doesn't work. Now, as a clinician, I'm like, that's wrong. All right, because now normally you wear those masks for airborne illnesses, right? Things like tuberculosis. But currently, it's still speculated as to whether this is airborne, but it's perceived that this is droplet, so you don't really got to wear that mask per se, because you can't breathe anything in, but a droplet can land on your mouth, or not mouth, but you can kind of get that in there. So it was very difficult, because then you have other people telling medical professionals, well, don't protect yourself. So this is such a disaster. This whole thing has been a disaster. There's been misinformation. It's one thing to tell the public don't wear a mask because the mask may not protect you, or rather we have a supply and demand issue. But the problem is that you had places like I think the Czech Republic that made it mandatory. There were scholars in Hong Kong that was like, this is totally not true. The masks are better than no mask. So the coronavirus has been annoying to deal with as a clinician. It's been annoying to deal with as a healthcare professional. It's been difficult to deal with as a son. It's been difficult to deal with as a boyfriend. And it's been difficult to deal with as a member of the United States, as a citizen, but a prospective citizen of Mauritius eventually. Where it also affects me is as a YouTuber. Your YouTuber. Sounds kind of weird, because it goes back to the things that I was telling you all about how, you know, at the end of the day, I understand I come out with content, but your time is more important than my content. I can't give you your time back. Every minute you watch of my videos, I can never repay you. I can't give you back your time. If I waste your time, I've wasted something that one day somebody is going to wish that they had. Think about all the people in this world who lose their loved ones and they say, I wish I had one more day with them. And one day when it's your time to go, your loved ones are going to say, I wish I had a little bit more time with that person. And right now, you're spending that time on me. And I understand how precious that is. That is a precious thing. What makes you all remarkable is that, again, I touched on this. Guys, I don't feel like I hide my personality on YouTube. There's evidence of this. You guys, you got Schmitty, who's met me in real life. You got Gaming Grizzly, who we shared a hotel room for a week. Yeah, there's YouTubers who have met me, and they'll tell you I'm the same person. One day you'll get this side of me, the empathetic, the educational, the clinician. The next you'll get the Perswayable's been drinking beer and he's saying some stupid, inappropriate sex jokes on Identity 5 or Dead by Daylight Mobile, right? So one day I act like a man-child and the next I act like I'm the one that's in charge of that man-child. I don't hide my personality. I think a lot of the times people in the medical field, people who get their masters and doctorates and PhDs, they feel this social pressure where they need to feel overly professional, right? And it leads to this sort of like elevated status. Like, I need to be professional. I need to be the one that is the teacher that tells you to be quiet and listen to. And I don't agree with that because I'm still a person. Even if it doesn't matter how many degrees I have, it doesn't matter how professional I am in the clinic. If my buddies are like, hey, let's grab a few beers and go play darts or play pool or something, and get a little silly, I'm gonna do it. So you guys see all the side. You see the salty side of me in games. God, my God, how many times have you guys seen me lose my shit in video games because I lose? You guys see everything, and it tells me more about you than me. YouTube is easy for me because I don't need to hide anything. All these people that pretend that they're perfect and always happy and always, then they feel compelled to hide all of the other dark sides to them. You guys kind of see my monsters and you're saying, fuck it, let's dance with them. And that actually says a lot about you, not me. Again, because it shows that you can appreciate people even if they're different from you. You think that Darri and I are exactly the same? Darri is like a type A personality. Like bullets, bulleted list. She likes organization. What are we doing today at what time? And I'm like type B. I'm like, I don't know, let's just see how it goes. I have people part of the Perswayable staff who are type A. When do we need this by? I'm like, let's just make a video sometime this week. And that's what kind of like what love and appreciation is about. It's about your ability to look at other people and understand that they're not like you, that they're very different from you, but that you can appreciate that. I don't want to be with people who only want Perswayable in one personality because that's not who I am. And that's also not fair to me because you're pretty much telling me that I can't be who I developed to be. I can only be one sort of person to benefit you. And I'm not going to give you that power over me, and I can't, and nor will I give you that power because I've never asked for you to subscribe to me. So what happens is that because you guys can look at me, look at all these sides of me, and kind of look at my fucked up personality and say, hey, I dig it. Think about all of you who have parents that you feel don't appreciate what you're doing or where you're going in life, that they have this perception of you and where you're supposed to be at, and that conflict identity issue. I experience that with people as well. So when I have YouTube subscribers who don't agree with all my stances or agree with my personality, but they're like, hey, I can appreciate this guy. I appreciate you too. And that's why I want to go over some of those comments. This has been a long 25-minute introduction of telling you how the coronavirus has affected me, and how much you all mean to me. And the best way to actually show that, instead of just saying it, is to give you my time and to provide you my time back towards you, so you know that you are heard, you are not alone, and that there are people who care about you, and I'm one of them. And if I may go back to the first thing that I said if you don't believe that, that's okay. It's 26,000 subscribers. People have millions of subscribers and stuff like that. But what I can tell you is somebody who, again, felt like nobody cared about him when I was in 9th grade. Shout out to my buddy Tyler for helping me through that situation. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. To have people who can love and appreciate you, as well as you finding your own self-worth. I just kind of wish that I could have talked to my 16-year-old self and said, hey, hey, little man, everything will be all right. Just get yourself out of this little tunnel. So understanding that despair means that I can understand and appreciate people who can appreciate me and my own self-worth. And you guys are important and you're significant. And I would like to provide that time to you now. So again, I have my tea. I'm not the best video editor. And so I'm doing this all, you guys know my style, my video editing, I barely ever make any edits. So we're just going to talk from the top of the head. This is all going to be genuine. Just like if you were talking to me one-on-one. I am not talking to you as a therapist. That is not my role with you all right now. I am not your occupational therapist. My role is to tell you that I care. I care about you. I got love for you. Even if you think differently from me, even if you don't agree with me, I don't want that. I don't want people who only think and act like me. I wouldn't want to clone myself. I'd probably punch myself in the mouth. So I appreciate that you guys are so different. I wouldn't. I don't condone violence, by the way. And I appreciate you all, and I'd like to spend some of that time with you. I apologize for how long this is going to be. So, Juniper Tea. By the way, I'm going to say a lot of these names incorrectly. For those who don't know, people in my real life call me EJ. I couldn't say my name till I was 15 years old when I was actually supposed to, and this is a true story, but I was actually supposed to die before I was born. I was like 6 or 7 months. And, the doctors told my mother, hey, your water broke. His lungs are not developed. You got to give him a name. And so my real name is Eric. E-R-I, yeah, Eric. And so my mom gave me kind of like a last ditch name. Like, all right, my baby's going to die. And long story short, I got stuck. She was in labor for a long time. And it gave me enough time for my lungs to develop. And so anyways, when I was born, I couldn't, I've had ear issues my entire life. I couldn't hear correctly and all that stuff. So I actually couldn't say my name till I was 15. I was in speech language pathology. I had a speech therapist for, oh my God, from kindergarten all the way up until 9th grade trying to teach me how to talk. So I have a hard time pronouncing things. I still do, actually. So if I mispronounce your word, it's 2 reasons. 1, sometimes I just suck. And 2, I might not pronounce this shit correctly. But just know that it's from the bottom of my heart and I'm trying. Juniper Tea. Been trying the best that I can do. Well, I'm glad that you are. Sometimes that's all you can do. I'm a big noob. Yes. There you go. Nice and short and concise. I hope you're continuing to take care of yourself. I'm a big noob. Alex. I'm in Vietnam, and yes, I'm doing good. Thank you for your support from Vietnam, and I hope that everybody in your country, including yourself and your family, and everybody is taking good care of themselves. Let's see. We got Sammy was in there. Yes, hope you are too. Thank you, Sammy. Vanny Mato. Yes, I am. Hello from South America here. Staying at home and just chilling. Thanks for asking, man. Yo, that's such a positive message. Yo, you're dope. I hope your family loves you because you deserve that. And they better. If they don't, you tell me and I'll have a stern talking to with them. Thank you for the support from South America. I do appreciate that. Continue taking good care of yourself, okay? We got, I think, MA1 Ejimas. I've really been stressing over class and shit. You're allowed to be stressed right now. I think that when I have a whole bunch of thoughts and feelings and ideas in my head, I like to just at least know that I'm within the realm of like, is this reasonable? It's good to be told that, hey, you know, whether we have positive or negative emotions towards something, is it reasonable? And what that's reasonable. It is. Now, you know what also is reasonable is your ability to try to reduce that stress. And only you are going to be able to figure that out. Fortunately, I can't do that over the computer. But just know that you're allowed to be stressed and you're allowed to problem solve and find ways to not eliminate the stress, but definitely reduce it. Make it a little bit more manageable. May I suggest something? Look at your leisure skills. Look at your leisure skills and ask yourself, are you finding things that can truly help you relax? You could start there. Excuse me, one. Trying to. LOL. Hey, there you go. The effort, right? You're putting effort in. That's what matters. You got this, boo. Lamzi. As much as possible. I'm the one that goes and does shopping when we need food, but the sanitizer gets used a ton. Could you make sure that you're washing your hands too? Right? I already know you know that, but I figured I'd throw it out there. Hand sanitizer doesn't work as well as washing your hands, but good for you. You are doing an amazing thing for your family. You're going in for the shopping, and that's good. You're limiting how many people in your family are leaving the house, which could reduce the potential of somebody being exposed. But good for you for stepping up for your family and trying to help them, and hang in there. You're doing a great job. We got somebody shit down. I like that name. I try to survive. Well, there you go. There's evolution in biology for you. You are doing exactly what we are biologically hardwired to do. So good for you. Keep going. I got faith in you. Wendy Calvin. Yeah, good. Zame Zino. I think I said that. If I didn't, I'm sorry. I'm doing great here. Hope you are too. But sometimes I'm anxious for not talking to my friends when quarantine starts. Now I feel a little bit lonely. Haha. Well, you're allowed to feel lonely. It can be a lonely experience. You know, humans, we're social creatures. That's what sociology will tell you. That's what it'll teach you. We're very social creatures. There's many case studies where if a child is neglected and abused and they lack social integration with other people, by the time they're 9, 10, 11, it's very, very difficult, if not impossible, to actually acclimate them in society. You know that whole Tarzan thing where if you live in the jungle with a bunch of apes, well, more often than not, you're not going to integrate to human society. We're very social. A lot of us don't think we are, but we are. We're very social. We are social creatures. So you lacking that is definitely going to make you feel lonely, which can actually lead to you not being able to perform your leisure skills as well. It can lead to some bad routines and tendencies, you know. And that's the other thing too, is that some people really like their routines, especially type A people, and now we're saying, hey, we're going to change this routine on you. That's difficult. It's a difficult thing. So hang in there and you know, make sure you FaceTime your friends. Thank you for commenting. We got Gardner Kuhn. In Turkey, because of the awesome government, we still don't have quarantine and they want our money. Normally, they should give us the money. Well, I don't unfortunately know anything about what's going on in Turkey. And I don't know anything about what the government's doing over there. Unfortunately, it hasn't come up on my radar. The only thing that I know about Turkey is some of the political things that are going on. In regards to their response to the coronavirus, I'm uneducated, if I am to be honest with you. My nose is itchy. And now I'm going to need to wash my hands before I touch anything. But anyways, Gardner Kuhn, I'm uneducated about that, but I do want you to know that regardless of that, continue taking care of yourself. I'm rooting for you. Demon 80, better question. Are you? Yeah, I'm doing good. My contract ends on the 10th, and then I'm going to be sitting pretty tight. For a little bit. I'm going to quarantine myself for 14 days because I do come from a COVID-19 building. So after I'm done with my contract, and then I'll be working on YouTube a lot. You guys will see me. Thank you for asking. Am I just sick of the routine and closed places? Well, I can't really tell you what you're sick of and what you're not, because that's what you could tell me. What I can tell you is that Again, some of us really like our routines and habits. There's a difference between what's meaningful and what's purposeful. For instance, you might not like your work or your job, or you may not like school, but it can provide a purpose. So there's a difference between what's meaningful and what's purposeful. And our routines consist of both. The problem is when our routine only consists of purposefulness and not enough meaningfulness, right? Lack of leisure skills. Or what a problem is with our routine is that if we have too much meaningfulness, we only do the things that we like, but then we lack a purpose, right? So it kind of can go both ways. In this case, my nose is itchy. It's because I'm on live. It's because I'm recording now, and whatever. I'll wash my hands in between takes. Oh, where was I? Yeah. So our routines usually consist of both meaningfulness and purposefulness activities, or purposeful activities. And at the end of the day, whether you like to do the things that you do, it gives you a purpose in life. You get used to that routine. It gets you out of bed. It makes you do the things that you got to do. You ever have a lazy day? And you're like, oh my God, I didn't even take a shower yet. It's like, some of you may not relate to this, but then, you roll over and it's 10 in the morning. You're like, wow, I actually still haven't brushed my teeth. I haven't gotten out of bed. I haven't even ate breakfast. So our obligations and our meaningful and purposeful activities gives us a routine. And like I said, right now, that's just, it's being obstructed. And that's going to cause frustration and an annoyance. What I was also talking to Darri about is how, our environments can shape our behavior. People don't realize that. Think about when you go into a library, why do you keep your voice down? So we are conditioned to act a certain way in different environments. And that's why if you're in a negative environment or in a negative relationship, right, it can elicit negative behavior. So your environment is important to you. Think about growing up in the city where there's a whole bunch of violence. Do you think that that's going to affect your behavior? It could. It could certainly be a factor. And so what's happening now too is that this is shaping up your home in a different way. You have a perceived identity to your home. Your home represents something to you, and it represents something differently to all of us. For instance, traditionally, my home has been seen as something where I'm supposed to relax and let go of stress. So I don't like doing work from home. So when I was in graduate school, I actually would leave home at 7 in the morning, and I would not come back at home until 8 o'clock at night. I would be anywhere else other than home, because grad school, all you're doing is work, study, research, science. So I knew that when I got home, I really didn't want to do any work at all. None. Because I identified my home as the place where I need to go to and relax. That's actually been something that's been a huge problem with my YouTube career, because I have to work at home. So I've had to reshape my entire life. It's been 18 months since I've been doing YouTube, and I'm still trying to reshape this thing that I've identified as I need to relax and go to sleep and get rid of stress. Now that we're all at home, including you, this is Emerald. Now we have to redefine what home means. Now you have to do your online classes in a place that you never really had to. You might had homework, but homework is different from classes. It's a whole different sociological thing. There's, homework is me in this paper and is what I need to do. Classes is interaction, listening to people, being and so now that you have to redefine temporarily what your home is, it's very hard for some people, because we react differently in different environments, and now this coronavirus is essentially expecting you to redefine what that home means to you and redefine your behaviors in an area that should be considered considered safe, and one of the few things in life that should be considered consistent, hopefully. So it is definitely weird, and you definitely are allowed to feel sick of your routine. Thank you for commenting. Let's see, we got Candy Addict 19. We are, as best as we can anyway. My mom still has to work through since she works at a grocery store. Thank you so much to your mother and what she does for this society. So that sucks. Oh, she says so that sucks. I'm not saying that sucks. How about I read her whole thing for We are, as best as we can anyway. My mom still has to work though, since she works at a grocery store. So that sucks. I'm just grateful that none of us have gotten sick yet. Thanks for being one of the people keeping me sane through this. Well, first of all, that's a mutual thing because your support and your time are very important. So don't ever feel like you're in debt to me. We have a mutual relationship, you and me, as your YouTuber and you as my viewer. So we're both hanging in there. We both need each other equally as much, all right? So you're keeping me sane right now by providing your time to me. I do want to thank your mom for what she does. All right, there's a lot of people that need to eat. There's a lot of people that need to eat healthy. And what she's doing is very important. And it's unfortunate that society is only realizing how important that job is right now. And I appreciate what she's doing. And I want you to continue doing the best that you can to help her out. It's important. Anything I need from you, just know I love you and I can do to help, let me know. You know, you don't need to babysit your mom, but you can let her know if there's anything that would really help her. Continue with that positivity. I like the way that you're thinking right now. There'll be a lot of YouTuber commenters who unfortunately are in different situations, so they'll think a little differently. But I want you to know that positive outlook, it definitely radiates and definitely motivates your mom to let her know that she's important because she is. Let's see. Without seeing the sun. Well, definitely get a little bit of sunlight, unless you're on full quarantine. Social isolation and quarantine are much different from stay at home. So try to go outside and get a little bit of that sunlight, even if it's just by yourself. That doesn't mean that you should be out in running around talking to your neighbors and things like that. I'm not saying, by the way, don't run and exercise. That's up to your individual states and the orders that they provide. However, definitely get some sunlight. You should be able to step outside as long as you're not in an area that's too close to other people just to get some sun. When I want some sunlight, I go outside on my little deck, get some sunlight. Trish Una is not thought. Yes, sir. There we go. Quick and concise. Limes. Hi, Limes. Day 13. Running out of Doritos. You know, I love Doritos. I really do. I don't eat that many chips, though. But I really like making soup and using, like, tortilla chips and dipping them in. Oh, my God. I'm so addicted to that. And you know what? My father is as well. Limes, thank you for always being such a positive contributor to the community. And please continue taking care of yourself. And, obviously, the side of me is like, don't eat too many chips. But then the other side is like, yo, go stock up. Make sure they don't get bought out. I'm kidding. Don't hoard. Kidding. LYW. Yes, take care. Thank you very much. Meatlug. Of course, boo-boo. How about yourself? What's going on, boo-boo? I'm doing good. I'm positive. I'm hanging in there. I'm also blessed by circumstances that allow me to be this way. It could easily be different if a family member got sick, etc. So, I'm not going to pretend like this is all my own volition. I'm not going to pretend like, oh, I'm a strong guy. I'm going to be happy. It's a product of my circumstances. But at the same time, it's hard to see my patients who I do love and care about tremendously, watching them not being able to see their family members for months. At this point, it feels like it. Chris Alvantis. Hi. I'm bored. I want to go out. It's hard, man. You know what's interesting? I saw this funny meme where it's like, I'm such a loner. Like, I go in my house, I do YouTube, play video games, And now that the government is telling me to do that, now I don't want to do it and I want to go outside. You know what the hardest part about this is, Chris, is that it's happening right around summer. I got to stay away from my mic. Sometimes I get too close to it. I'm not used to using this professional mic, so I just don't know how much it picks up my sound. And my posture is awful. Remember, positive posture, guys, 90-degree angle, nice and upright. You don't want to develop any muscular or... Anyway, that's a different conversation. Yeah, so what we were talking about, that meme about how now I don't want to go out, now how I do want to go outside. What's difficult is that all of this is going to be happening right around summertime. I'm not sure how all of you feel, but I know wintertime, I don't do any winter activities. I don't like snowboarding or skiing. I don't like the cold. I don't like any of that nonsense. I like warm. That's just me. So during the winter, depending on where my contracts are, if I'm in a very cold environment, I stay inside. I hibernate. I feel like I'm a bear. Don't tell Grizzly that, though. And now that it's starting to get spring and summer, I'm like, all right, I've been hibernating for a while now. Like I've been inside, I've been chilling. Now I want to go outside, enjoy life, go fishing and things like that. And now I can't. Well, fishing I kind of can if no one's around, but you guys get my point. And anyways, you're allowed to be bored. Find some good. It's a great time to try to pursue different leisure activities within your home. Try things out. 1 in a million. Yes, thanks for your concern, Perswayable. Hey, trust me, you deserve my concern. Zestos, day 13. I learned to dig a hole to the wall with a spoon. That's actually good. The occupational therapy side of me is like, hey, that's good fine motor manipulation skills. Then using a spoon, it's great motor repetition and good for you. You're using all your forearm muscles. That's amazing. I hope that you can find some leisure activities, but I hear you. That was a funny comment. All right, Shamarian Webb. I miss my bestie, but we're staying in to be safe. Oh, well, I'm sure your bestie misses you, and your bestie is lucky to have you. And thank you for taking the social distancing concern seriously. And grow. Lonely. Even though it's not a huge lifestyle change for me. Also worried because healthcare supplies be lacking and people I know gotta work in sketchy conditions. And grow. You're totally right. We just talked a little. Actually, I feel like we talked about almost every part of your comment throughout this session so far. We talked about the lifestyle change. Like, now that to tell me to stay inside, that part of me is like, and we talked about the supply problem, which I feel I was very objective about, so we can blame that. But hang in there. And again, a great opportunity to try to explore different things that you may at least be interested in regards to how you spend your time within your home. But we talked about how that identification with the home, our environment, can shape our behavior, and now trying to redefine what that environment means will definitely affect our behavior as well. Attikin, I think I may have said that incorrectly. I'm sorry. I guess I sometimes want to tie my family to the rocket chairs. Is this okay after 3 weeks of quarantine? Absolutely. That is family. Family is, first of all, how you define it. That's my personal opinion. You learn that in sociology as well. However, tie my family to the rocket chairs. It's going to be difficult for them too. Yeah, I'm sure it's difficult for them to manage that. But yeah, definitely. We're living with anyone. Yeah, whether it's family or not, living with anyone can be a very complicated matter. There are some professionals who believe that you should live with your significant other for at least 6 months to a year before you tie the knot. Living in the same household with somebody can be very complex. It's different if you're a child because there's that that authority aspect in there. But when it's all preferably equal, it's difficult. There's a lot of negotiation, and oh my God, you ever hear about college students with nightmare roommates, etc.? It's a difficult time. So yes, what you want to do, tie them to the rocket chair would make sense. See if there's a way that you could maybe have that urge a little bit less. maybe there's something that you all could figure out with that dynamic. Unfortunately, I could help you, but I just don't have enough time. You got this. That's a great comment. Chimerical. I just had a horrible burnout, but after crying and sleeping and watching Sherlock in some of your videos, gotta say I feel better. Burnout is a very real thing. Chimerical. Makes sense. And I'm sorry that you went through that. And, crying, in my opinion, is a good thing because you're feeling, and feelings are called feelings because you're supposed to feel them. It's such a crazy concept that we're supposed to hide those and not act them out. So I know that you had your burnout and you were crying. You got some good rest, sleep, very, very important. You got to watch something, Sherlock, which is important to you. It's meaningful, all right? and you feel a little bit, and you watch my videos. I'm sorry that you watch my videos, but I do appreciate it. And I'm glad that you're feeling a little better. And just remember that you're allowed to take care of yourself. Okay? So if you're having a horrible burnout, look at that, figure out why, and ask yourself, what can I do to identify the triggers that are leading me to crying? Because if you can start identifying some of those flags and some of that buildup, then you might be able to find a way to manage it. You don't got to eliminate it. It's a lot of pressure on you to say that we have to eliminate something. How can we manage it? How can we reduce it a little bit? Good job for you for feeling better, though. I'm proud of you. I'm rooting for you. Luca Font, the situation here in Italy is no better, but me and my family are doing pretty well. Hope you are doing fine too. Hello, my friend from Italy. There's a lot that's going on over there. You know, at one point it was the epicenter. They're saying that that America will potentially be the epicenter, or already is. I'm very, very sorry from the bottom of my heart what your medical doctors and nurses are going through. I know that, you know, there was a nurse, like I said, in Italy that just committed suicide because she felt she spread coronavirus to her patients. I know that a lot of your businesses are closed and people are worried. All I can do is tell you that I have an incredible amount of love and respect for the people in Italy. I have a lot of love and respect for you. My mother is Italian. When she gets mad at me, she swears at me in Italian. It's quite scary. I have incredible love and respect for you. Hang in there, all right? And thank you for the well wishes. I mean that. Craig Anderson, yes sir. There we go. Craig Anderson, thank you for your comment. Alberto Francesco, I said that wrong. Reza, I'm doing good. Great. Thank you for commenting. Fly Fletcher, you won't like this. I am contagious. There's nothing to like and not like. If you have the coronavirus, just hang in there and take care of yourself. Right now, let's focus on you. It doesn't matter what I like or don't like. And what matters is you. Who gives a damn what Perswayable likes and doesn't like? If you're contagious, if you have the coronavirus, let's focus on you, not me. Let's focus on you taking care of yourself. If there's anything I can do for you, please let me know. I'm rooting for you. Bowen777, I'm taking care of myself. I hope you are too. I'm managing, developing a few bad tendencies, but we'll work on that. And I'm human as well. But thank you for the well wishes, and continue taking care of yourself. Kitty and Dinos. Yeah, I've been trying to stay indoors and stay healthy, but my family is a little sick with a cold, so I'm trying my best. I hope everyone else is too. Thank you for asking. I hope you're still doing great, Perswayable. This tells me how remarkable you are, Kitty, because you're worried about your family. You're worried about them being sick. You're worried about you having a cold, and at the same time, you still have that empathy and sympathy and that altruism in your own heart to still be able to say, I hope that you're doing well, Perswayable, or great in the words that you used. And that says a lot about you. It says that you really do care about other people, and especially if you were able to put that within the same sentence. And so I appreciate that. I really do. And just understand that from my end, I'm wishing you and your family the best. All right. It's a really weird time because now if you don't know if it's a seasonal thing that you're going through, or if it's just allergies from the trees. Never mind, I can't make that joke. So, yeah, you guys, there's a lot that's going on, and just know that I'm rooting for you and your family as well. I'ma yeet the bread. I'm doing horribly. I got sick, not that bad, but it still sucks. I'm eating soup. I love soup. I really do. I think Naruto did that to me because I saw, years and years of him eating ramen. So now, I love ramen. I'm very sorry that you're doing horribly, and I'm very sorry that you got sick. Not that bad, but it still sucks. It doesn't need to be bad for it to suck, right? You're sick. It doesn't need to be a bad sickness. It still sucks, just like you said. You don't need a quantity. It's not like you, on a scale of 1 to 10, you being sick, you have to hit the scale of 4 or higher in order for it to affect your life, or for you to be, annoyed by it. It doesn't matter. Sickness is sickness, regardless of how bad it is. So hang in there. I'm rooting for you. Thank you again for commenting as well. Caramel Undead. I'm good, but I'm trying to figure out which to buy, Myers or Pig. Definitely buy Myers. Michael Myers and Dead by Daylight, way better. Funner, in my opinion. Although Pig is good for surveillance and make a choice. Sanoki, all you did is send me hearts. And when I say all you did is send me hearts, I meant that is the best thing that you could have done. I have love for you. Thank you. Isa, or Iza. I'm doing great except for the fact that I wake up at 6 p.m. and go to bed at 5 a.m. Yep, again, that routine. Don't let do the best that you can to try to get yourself in a healthy routine, right? So when we talked about meaningful and purposeful occupations, how we do things that are meaningful and purposeful, that kind of tell us what our structure is in our routine, or rather our routine provides structure. What it seems like is that now that structure has been removed, it's affecting your daily function. So my recommendation is try to structure yourself and try to get yourself back into a good rhythm and try to get yourself back into that sleep schedule. Super important. Sleep is very, very important for your overall function, okay? So try to provide yourself structure. I mean, I'm only judging this on a comment, but again, I know me personally, I made that joke about how you can wake up at 10 in the morning. You're like, oh my God, I haven't eaten. I haven't brushed my teeth, right? I'm somebody that does well on structure. I need structure to function. So perhaps that could be what it is. Could be other reasons. Unfortunately, I don't have the opportunity to talk to you more in depth with that, but just remember your sleep is super important, and I guarantee you that if anyone can figure it out, it'll be you. Thank you so much for commenting. Mega Noob, I am. The quarantine, it's not been that hard. That's my accent. Hard. Because I never go out anyway. So Mega Noob's saying that they're doing well and that the quarantine is not that difficult for them because they don't go out as much. At least you can be honest with it, right? You're saying, hey, this isn't really affecting me too much because my normal routine is really where I am. There's people who are homebodies, right? You know, that's something too that we have to try to remember as clinicians and evaluators, because we know that we're social creatures. We know that social interaction can be so positive, but you also have to be respectful and mindful of people's choices, right? I keep saying we are approaching it from a more holistic standpoint now, where instead of just saying social interaction, go out, we're realizing, wait a minute, people have a choice here. Just because I went to school for a long time doesn't mean that I know what's better for you in your own individual life. I know what the research and the data suggests. That's why we use science. But we also got to be mindful of people's own routines and their own habits and beliefs, things that make them happy. And what I want to get to at that point is, I hope you're happy. I hope that you're still happy. I hope your loved ones are happy, and hang in there. Thank you so much for commenting. Ava who asked, thank you for asking. I'm doing fine over here in Germany. Situation is pretty okay, I guess, even though no one is going out anymore. Well, except for groceries. I hope you and your girlfriend are also doing fine. You know, we have a lot of fans from all over the world. What do we have? Germany's, Vietnam, South America, all over the place. Thank you for responding to me, especially from Germany. And thank you for your nice comments. I appreciate that as well. Me and Darri, or rather Darri and I, were doing well. She's got her internet back, so I can annoy her with my face. Good morning. And continue taking good care of yourself and your family, okay? Destiny Wolf 9, working my way through writing a conclusion for a science project. Not going well, lol. I'm taking care of myself though, and I hope you are hope you are too. Hope quarantine is okay for you. Science projects are always a pain in the ass. I live and breathe science for a living, and there have been many moments where I have just utterly been awful and sucked at science. Science is such a wide array of topics. I do feel sometimes our public school system does a disservice, because they can, it's a ran down curriculum, but it leaves a really bitter taste on a lot of people's mouths. Science is it's everywhere. It's everything. And you can embrace science minimally, moderately. You can embrace certain types of science. Chemistry, I don't really mess with, but physics and geometry, believe it or not, because angles in your body, right? I need to know what the regular range of motion in your elbow is. If you come to me and your elbow is like this, well, I need to measure it to see, all right, how much range of motion do we have, and do I have the potential of getting that back, right? So my entire life is based on angles. But anyways, I digress. Science is everywhere. It's everything. So many different topics, so many different subjects, and it's such a disservice when, high school students leave high school saying, I hate science, I'm bad at science. And it's like, oh, I wish that I could teach you. But then maybe that's my own superhero effect there, where I think I can change everything. Anyways, your science project, good luck on it. If it's not going well, do your best on it. If you do your best on it, you may be or may not be disappointed in the grade, but you will not underestimate or be disappointed in your work ethic. Just remember that. You have a science project and you don't think it's doing well. When you submit that science project in, you're going to get a grade. The one thing that you can't control is what that teacher puts that grade on it. But the one thing that you can control is how much time, energy, and effort you really are putting into it. And put in enough where you feel will satisfy you. So regardless of the outcome, you're not looking at your own individual self and worth ethic. Science can be such a pain in the ass. I've been doing it. I mean, that's what occupational therapy is. We're an evidence-based practice. And there's still things I don't know anything about. So just do the best that you can and learn from it. That's part of the learning process. So I got faith in you. You're going to nail it. And continue taking good care of yourself, okay? Thank you for commenting. Max, thank you, Persway. I'm doing all right so far. I hope everything is going well. It is going well, Max. Thank you very much. Mood. Yes. Very firm. One word, yes. You're going to be that parent one day. It's just, yes, no. Yeah. Thank you for your response, Mood. That's awesome. I do appreciate it. Joe M. Been staying at home, only going out if my family really needs something from the grocery store. Online school is starting to get on my nerves, but safety comes first. Hope everyone else as well. So online classes totally suck. I'll get to that in a second, but I'm glad that you're staying at home as much as possible. Thank you very much for social distancing to the best of your ability. Online classes really suck. So in my college, I graduated with my 2 degrees with the highest of honors. So you can't graduate with higher honors than what I did. I did pretty good in college, right? I know that sounds egotistical, but it's not. It's just that I hustled and I worked hard for it. When I had online classes, I struggled the hardest. And in fact, there was a math course that I had to withdraw from because I couldn't do it. And it was an online math course. So I'm just trying to share my story. I'm hoping that I'm doing it tastefully. If I'm not, I apologize. I do try my best, and sometimes I come up short because that's what men do. But I wanted to let you know that I felt like I did good. I put my hard work in. Online courses, man, I sucked at. I was awful. Because the structure is not the same. I'm more of a hands-on learner. I gotta, and I struggle. Some people are perfectly fine with it. But anyways, if the online school is getting annoying for you, that's okay. Some of us just excel differently. Some people can do it, no problem, man. I envy them. Those are the real champions with me. I'm like, I can't do this online stuff. I gotta go. I gotta ask you questions. I gotta annoy you. I gotta raise my hand. I got questions. Joe M, thank you for your comment. I'm rooting for you. Let's see. New Blood Z98. Yeah, doing fine at home. There you go. Oh, by the way, so how about I knock myself down? High school, I was awful in high school. I think my GPA in high school was like, I don't even know, like 2.3? Something like that. It was, oh my God, I never paid attention. I didn't care. I didn't care about high school. Never paid attention. I tried to act all like the class clown all the time. And then when I got to college, I was like, I really like this. I really like this. And I put a lot of energy and effort into it. That's the only reason why. And I also think that this whole like caring about GPA thing can be so dumb. It really can. Like, we could have a conversation about how I think the university system is fundamentally flawed. If you want my advice, by the way, when you go to college, use Rate My Professor and try to schedule all your classes with the professors that have high ratings, because it usually means that they're fun to work with. They care about their students. You know, professors are also bogged down with trying to do research and trying to teach courses to students. And it actually becomes like a political system where if you can just schedule all the right courses with all of with all the good professors, you'll be fine. And then that high GPA will make you look smarter, and you'll be able to get into graduate school. The whole system has its own flaw. This is a whole different video for a different day. But I really just wanted to validate your concern. I felt like I dug myself a hole because I was like, I probably shouldn't have been talking about my own education. And maybe that's something that I got to learn when I talk to people. You know, don't talk about yourself as much. That's a skill that I will continue to learn. I'm not perfect either, but you got this, Joe M. I mean that. New bloods. Yeah, doing fine at home. There you go. Good. Hang in there. Just Monica, doing just fine. Online classes are horrible, but that's it. Oh, yeah, again, guys, I am validating that concern. You have every right to think that the online classes are horrible, but it's good that you guys are adapting to the best of your ability. That's good for you. Thank you for commenting, Just Monica. Sugar Sweet. It's quite the hassle when you have to struggle to buy supplies. Luckily, YouTubers like you give content to keep us occupied. Well, YouTubers like me are lucky because we have great people like you watching us. So don't ever get that twisted up. But what I would like to tell you is that I'm very sorry that there's a struggle for you to buy supplies. It's a very difficult time for a lot of people. And it sounds like it's difficult for you, especially if there are supplies that you need and that you don't have the most amount of access with. But your second comment when you said, you know, there are YouTubers who are giving you content to keep you occupied. I like that you're trying to find sort of that like ray of sunshine in the tornado of shit. I can appreciate that because I'm not sure if you realize that, but you're resilient. You're finding a way to say, all right, you know, this situation sucks, but I got to make do with it. And that means you're adapting. Within your own comment, read it. It means you're doing the best that you can to adapt, and that's what we do as humans. That's what we do as biological species, is that we adapt. And if we don't adapt, well, we know the consequence of such. Hang in there. I'm hoping that this is all temporary. A lot of the research is all over the place. Some people are saying it's going to be a long time. I've read the research. Research is all over the place. Just hang in there. Hang tight. We'll know more. Just so you know, with exponential growth, all right, there's a difference between linear growth and exponential growth. Linear growth is just like kind of like a little line. Exponential growth is like it shoots up. And that's what a pandemic does. That's what people don't realize. That's why social distancing is so important, right? Exponential growth means something starts and it just shoots right up, all right? Google it. See the difference. Just look at the graph. You'll see. You don't need to be an expert in math to know what that means. So just Google it. And that's why pandemics are worrisome. And that's why social distancing is so important. Because we want to try to flatten that curve. We want to take that exponential growth and make it more linear and hopefully flatten it out entirely. So that's why social distancing, again, is important, because we want to prevent that exponential growth a little bit, all right? It's very hard to predict when it's going to start going back down because it's still going up, right? When it shoots up, we don't like, when is it going to start dropping off? And when you can flatten the curve, that's when you can kind of slow this whole pandemic thing down. So with that being said, why am I saying this? We don't really know when the worst of this is. We don't know how long it's going to be. So hang in there. Hey, everybody. This was originally a 5-hour video, and I'm going to cut this up into 5 different episodes. And I hope that you appreciate it. This is the introduction. We talked to some people. And the next videos are going to be nothing but really talking and communicating with you all from that original status. Thank you very much for watching. I really love you all. I'm rooting for you. Hey, hang in there. Hang in there, boo-boos.